Hello, interstellar to all the class 7 students. In this final video on chapter number 1, nutrition in plants, we are going to discuss about two terminologies. These two terminologies are saprotrophs and symbiosis. Let us try to understand what do we mean by saprotrophs and what do we mean by symbiosis. Saprotrophs lana kharesha, symbiosis lana kharesha. What do you call? So, chapter number thangbu ki ta joja thamani di charuor. So let us start with saprotrophs. Now, if you want to understand what is saprotroph lana khalawi me kiran zo godchende yobi imbai na. You can take the example of mushrooms, edible mushrooms. You must have eaten mushrooms. You must have gone to vegetable markets and bought packets of mushrooms. Shamong sagiyo edible mushrooms lana shamong sayo yorda. So shamong sama sayo yomarda. Some mushrooms are edible and some mushrooms are not edible. In fact, some mushrooms are extremely toxic. Edible mushrooms like the. And you must have also seen mushrooms growing on dead wood. Shazen yosa. Ani shingdon de ma ri de yoda de shingdon ru do yon ningban de yobi imbai na. Ani wodi wa de wala khar ke do. Shamong ke do. So we have got edible mushrooms and we have got mushrooms growing on dead wood. And then we also have seen bread mold. Bread mold lana khala or kisi kiran zala bread do jo chasha. Ani di saja thö yosa. Shazen yosa jile gyurungbu shasha wi imbai na. What happens? Diga la hambu jegdo. So bread mold is hambu la khala gre bread mold gre. Diga jangu do ndike do jangna do ndike do. Din sama khare these are all bread molds. Paletrola do do. And if you pick out tene ya kirangi pincer ji lane ro forceps ji lane dus chinki and microscope wala ta wa imbai na. If you observe bread mold under microscope, you will see something like this over here. Under microscope, bread molds look like this one. So now, example sumte so edible mushrooms, mushrooms growing on dead wood, and then we also have got bread mold. All these are living organisms. Dike sama khare living organisms reda. But these organisms, right? They are not plants. The plants but they are not considered as plants. In higher classes, you will learn that they are in fact fungi, right? So these organisms, these living organisms, mushrooms ta ani hambu da dige sama khare, these are fungi. Fungi lad. Ta kiran fungi lane digre, fungi lane digre, khandes lagi yobi mene, but I want you to remember the spelling of this particular word. Fungi. So now these organisms, they are called as fungi. And their mode of nutrition is saprotrophic mode of nutrition. They are saprotrophs. Fungi sama kharire. Saprotrophs relar. Tanga saprotrophs like sigi thunda dilirda. Saprotroph lano khonzu sama saprotroph res. Khonzu la saprotroph khachin la wore la imbaina. Their mode of nutrition is saprotrophic mode of nutrition. So saprotrophic mode of nutrition lana kharire do. These organisms, mushrooms and bread mold, khonzu khandes seju rawa chigore la imbaina. These organisms, they secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter and convert it into a solution. Shamong da ani hambu da denzu kharchi gore la mana khonzu gi digestive juice choro khala digest che gi je jo marwe di thangbu ma ani ngobu kala ma le ro ngobu khari imba ine ro ko kala ma le dead and decaying organisms, dead and decaying matters la gorda. Dead and decaying matters kala ma digestive juice di ma le and solution la convert chi gore. And then these organisms, they absorb the nutrient from the dead and decaying matter. Right? So such mode of nutrition is called as saprotrophic nutrition. Now saprotrophic nutrition chigi yoba sonza ani organism tige la khar la gore saprotrophs ya la gore. So saprotrophs lana kharesha, those organisms which grows on dead and decaying organic matters. Saprotroph ki simple definition kare. Saprotroph la mena those organisms which grows on dead and decaying organic matters. Shingdong ri de yodo da, sha ri de yodo da, na de pale do da, dezu hachi do, dezu gala ke do. So that means these fungi, they grow on dead and decaying organic matters. Okay, so saprotroph se uchung so. The saprotrophs na nga the fungus they call it tadu zambal ro. Fungus ki nga lunde mangu pe ki gorda. These fungi they cause lots of damage, right? Menace la do. So fungal menace. Fungal menace la do zamba khalo or kisi kira leather jacket jiwa chasha. If you have a leather jacket, right? If you keep it in a warm and humid place for a long time, kharchi do ko ga la hambu jay ko zu do. 샤무도 양생 머주 인바나 로 샤젠 서지를 샤워 인바나 트여 서지를 샤워 인바나 호간레 함부제도 not only that camera ki lens shego gala ya dinde khasido these are in fact fungus 되게 sama fungus르다 반자이래 로 so 되게 가지도 뇌기도 렌스 촐라던 그래 샤무 촐라던 그래 독로 촐라던 그래 계란족이 한국 왜 leather shoes yo bi mena leather shoes ke thola dangre so the khandes thola dugore love in baina fungal spores fungus kita suen rojo mare saben rojo ra fungal spores they are present in the air maju gi yo thong yo mare ma to the fungal spores are present in the air and when the spores they land on wet and warm things they germinate and they grow fungal spore di kesita leather jacket gala phamne re shamu gala phabi in baina re ani phage la khachi re germinate che ro ani page gana salon che yongur andi haji do chala chola dang do ra kiran zu thulo kaw din de cherdu gablo chola mabu do nyu yugre ro kiran zu phamal ke ji tida ro ta tangi di ko la mangbu la so now how will you keep your things safe from fungi during hot and humid weather cherdu gabla ta kiran gi thulo da ro ani chala ngobo ta khari mane lens to yimba ne re shamu yimba ne re dige changma kiran zu hambu maja chedo kiran zu save condes nyarza chigimbe tablam chi khariore saja kamsa chilasha lem khal shazen gudo ani tablam niwa khariore this thangmu yosalasha tablam sumba khariore changma tu ni shada ni hambu je mare if you wash them right and keep your clothes clean dry right then there won't be any fungal growth seo chungso diche saprotrophs kola che ta niwa di khare nga zo tharing ge joja niwa di khare topic niwa di symbiosis or symbiotic relationship symbiotic relationship lana khala ore when two organisms live together and share shelter and nutrients with each other such relationship is called as symbiosis or symbiotic relationship symbiotic relationship nanglo la khari ore organism ni chambuchini degi yobimena phazu niga phazu pentoje degi yobimena tilang azu khalla ore symbiotic relationship la or azu parasite time but parasite nanglo la organism ni nyamdo dego ore ne chigi chigi nyo ki do but in symbiotic relationship two organisms they live together and they help each other they share shelter they share nutrients right so this is called as symbiotic relationship or simply symbiosis ठीक दिसे उ छुंसो तनी example te wi imbai na ro tajing ye fungi la sto tanjing azu thulo lo ne yeng ich minde ya fungi changma thulo lo ne yeng ye revela na marda some fungi they live inside the soil ro sawa la ke gor and they live in near the tree roots ro tree roots nyamdo la de gor shingdong gi chawa nyamdo la de and kharchi gore they help the tree to take up water and nutrients from the soil fungi gi haji gore tree la chuda ani minerals da nutrients zu ya jibe la rokwa chi gor ani tree gi fungi la khandes rokwa chi gor la be mena tree gi fungi la ani desa gi saja te gor provides desa saja te gore nyamdo la haji gore pha ani khoi gi photosynthesis cheni khala so egyo jora odi khonzula fungi la te gor right such association gives rise to mycorrhiza ta detsik de themba nya mycorrhiza la na khala gore fungi da ani shingdo ni gi para gi symbiotic relationship de la zo khala re mycorrhiza ani example shimba ani best example kharje na digre symbiotic haji gi best example kharre lichens ta ni gi lichens lag do yema ni gi zinda shimba pugu de gi lichens lag do ta khar lag yu bim bene you have to know the correct spelling right pronunciation can vary right otherwise it is called as lichens right so lichens la di kharre 아주 도든지 간데 까우치게도 통유유를 기란소 디에 가래 라이켄레 싱동 간에 딘디 도케이도 덴조에 가래 라이켄스레 right so now lichens la di organism chik marda di nanglo la organism ni nyamdo de der So lichens, they are made up of two organisms. So two organisms or two partners are chik harre, alga re. Chik harre, fungus re. Chik alga che, chik fungus. So alga lana nye dinge de lai ba nga zo algae la ji lai ba chu ga la jangu ru ke chu den de ga la ki chu den de ga la jangu ye yo de kharre las nye ke algae re la so singular khare alga chik da ani fungus ki rik chik khuni nyam do ya de je chambu chini de wi ba nan khare form chi gore lichens la de form chi gore de do di and this is a good example of symbiotic relationship because fungus ki alga la kharte gore shelter water and minerals te gore alga la. And alga दिखा रहे को photosynthesis चाहिए न्यूबा योरो alga they have got the potential to or they have got chlorophyll and they can do photosynthesis and alga की photosynthesis चाहिए रो fungus ला फा खरीद टे को ला विंबा ना they provide food to the uh, fungus right through photosynthesis. So lichens are best example of symbiosis or symbiotic relationship. यहाँ example शिंबा चिक खरी और ला विंबा ना bacteria chur ये दिन्या दिन्या मा ला intense किरांसो. Trees, they need nitrogen in order to produce proteins. Plants, they need nitrogen in order to produce proteins. Zishin shingdong inere, and it's a doji in binary. They get some like haru nitrogen gugor, karcheju gugore, protein suechedu. Right. So atmospheric nitrogen the zishin la peju yomaris la so. Atmospheric nitrogen the tambu harche gugore, sananama zugor. This sananama zuni ani zishin gi peju che yogi form na convert cha gugor. This is robachigore labimana rhizobium bacteria ki robachigore. So rhizobium bacteria, they live in the roots of these plants, especially leguminous plants. Leguminous plants na ta dal gi rikchu anjogi. Dal, rajma, tema, ro dige rikchu mare. Dige sama khare leguminous plant na sugor. So rhizobium bacteria, they live in the roots of leguminous plants, right? And plants, they provide food and shelter to the bacteria. Plants ki bacteria la kharte gore khala da shelter te gore shelter lana desa. And bacteria ki pha plant la kharte gore la wimba na atmospheric nitrogen di ma khu ki soil na la ma the ani plant la pheju yo ki nitrogen form na la pha change che ani plant la nitrogen te gore. So niga pha zu phen tho so bacteria la desa ra gore plant la nitrogen ra gore. Okay, so this is also a symbiotic relationship. So kissing anjoigi ani soil nanglo la rhizobium bacteria yobi impaina. Or if you grow leguminous plants, right? Ani farmers la khari khepsa yore. The farmers, they don't need to add fertilizers containing nitrogen. Shimba khachi do shimba denzu fertilizer torgo do tishin la nitrogen raya chedu. If they grow leguminous plants which contains rhizobium bacteria living along with it, right? They do not need to add nitrogen. Nitrogen add chegumare. Dichini sam khaji do shingba denzogi shinga para la dal in the tabgu do titabgu yumzen khare because in leguminous roots leguminous plant gi root nanglo la rhizobium bacteria nyam do de gore ni rhizobium bacteria gi khachi gore soil nanglo la nitrogen ma thero chi gore seo chungso. So this is a symbiotic relationship. Okay, so to summarize chapter dinala khar kola jang re la na we have seen that most of the plants sishi mangche khare they are autotrophs. They can make their own food through the process called photosynthesis. We have seen the process of photosynthesis. Then we have seen some plants, not all plants are autotrophs. Some plants like Cuscuta or Amarbel laja, they are heterotrophs. Right? Heterotrophs khachinire because they depend on other plants for nutrients. Cuscuta la di parasite imba. Shingdo shimba gala ya zanike and shingdo shimba de lenyo ke. So Cuscuta, since they do not have chlorophyll, they have to depend upon other plants for nutrients, and therefore they are called as heterotrophs. And then we have seen that fungi, they are saprotrophs because they grow on dead and decaying organisms. And then we have seen symbiotic relationship, and lichen is a good example of symbiotic relationship. So I hope you have understood the entire chapter. So with this we have come to the end of this particular chapter. Notebook download notes. In one of the books you have to write the textbook exercise. Textbook exercise theory, page number 9. On page number 9 you have got exercise questions, right? Question number 1 ne chenima, question number 12 hododwa. So you have to write those questions and you have to write the answers, right? Question ki answer dige sangma kiranzu susu loktim ne tinere ro answer tseni ya mena online nanglo la kiranzu gi my CBSE guide la ro dine kiranzu tani tine tigre. Okay, so please complete the exercise portion. Then we will start the next chapter. Chapter number niwa nutrition in animals la dinga zo next go zu enda. Okay, thank you.